What did you make of the Prime Minister's... let's start with his demeanour at that press conference. I thought the point's been made here in the studio, he looked like somebody who felt that he'd beaten the rap.
Yeah, I mean, I think he came across as actually sort of weary and, you know, a little bit, dare I say it, slightly bored with having to keep repeating the same lines that we've heard him repeat for some time. I'm not sure whether that's the impression he wanted to create, but I think that's a sort of byproduct of this story for having run for such a long time. And one thing that, you know, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, he has been strategically very adept in constantly pushing this thing into the long grass. And even at this point that the Sue Gray report has, if you like, emerged from the long grass, I think the fact that it has been rolling and rolling and rolling for such a long time and didn't quite have perhaps the bite people expected means that he might feel entitled to give the impression that he's got away with it.
The day itself, James Kirkup, respected parliamentary reporter, correspondent, columnist, he says today was one of those what he describes as helicopter days. I can't hear the clatter of rotor blades above your head, but I imagine for substantial parts of today you probably could do standing where you are. The news channels put up the helicopters because today's a big day. And actually there's a disconnect between what we journalists give a toss about and what the public really think matters.
Colin, I've got to admit that I've lost my earpiece, so here we are. I'm back connected with
You're
you
back
now.
in.
But I think I got the gist of what you were asking. Yeah, about the disconnect between, you know, what journalists focus on and you know what regular people are preoccupied with. And you know, I think that observation is very accurate. But I also think, to a certain extent, it's been quite cleverly capitalised on by the Prime Minister's press machine to kind of reinforce that narrative and create the sense that actually he is preoccupied and concerned with the actual problems that people face. And whilst that is partly true, it's also a little disingenuous because we shouldn't suggest that people don't feel genuine anger about these things. So I think there's an element of truth in both elements of that equation.